Welcome back to Digi Bros.
What's up, bitches?
We exhausted a lot of deep philosophical topics.
Yeah, Jesus Christ.
We scared off our poor little brother.
Yeah.
That poor bastard. He just wanted to have a drink and have a nice night because he's on spring break. He's probably in his room thinking very hard about a lot of things.
This is why I don't drink.
Making some very important life decisions. This is why I do drink. I drink to feel.
Drink to feel.
Actually, I drink more often these days to be looser in videos. Because lately I have a habit of getting a great idea for a vlog and then drinking so I can do a vlog. Which is funny because it's led people to the belief that I've been... People keep going like, man, it seems like you're drinking a lot lately. Like, is everything okay? And I'm like, it's just because I only film myself when I'm drinking. Yeah. You know, like... I don't film myself every day. If I filmed myself every day and it seemed like I was drinking in every video, it would be a problem. Yeah. But no, I just happen to film myself when I'm drinking. Which this past month I haven't been drinking a lot because the pub crawl's been on hiatus. So it's been a sort of a slow drink month. But
wow.
I won't say dry, but. It hasn't been much incentive to get drunk. So when Shane came up to me tonight and was like, I've had a little bit to drink. I want more. I was like, oh, Daddy's ready to party, you know.
Yeah.
And I'd already had a couple cups of wine, so I was like more than ready. But I suspect he is somewhere either passed out or
very sad.
Or he's either by himself having deep thoughts, or he has started a deep conversation with someone close to him.
Perhaps.
But you know, if alcohol... Here's the thing. You know, alcohol does make you make rash decisions, but I think, for me, at least most of the time...
Dude, put your foot down. It smells like shit, dude.
Is it my foot?
God, yes. Oh, Jesus Christ. I was like, what the hell is that smell?
Alcohol makes you make rash decisions, but for me, it's usually the right decision. Because lately when I drink, there's a tendency that I end up cutting someone out of my life who shouldn't have been there. You know?
Perhaps. There are some, you know, I've... Not fun nights, but have led to decent things.
Yeah, like Derek
like kicking out
Derek. Where we had this whole night of everyone was drunk, and he said some really shitty stuff to you.
Yeah.
And then you, who were also drunk, went off on him and finally kicked him out of our house. And there has been no drama in our group of friends for over a year.
Yeah.
Whereas before that, there was constant drama in our group of friends.
Oh, man.
So...
You were right.
It was ultimately, we said even at the time, we were like, he gave us the greatest Christmas gift of all. Because even though you had told him, even though you yelled at him, you ruined Christmas. Nonetheless,
it's a very tragic, shitty night.
It was a great Christmas present.
Sure.
To just excise himself from our group of friends. When I drink, I get, like, you know, if someone who's been pissing me off for a long time pisses me off while I'm drinking, then I go, why am I dealing with this? This is stupid. Why am I being a nice guy? This is hurting me, you know, and I cut them out. Or I just leave. Like, there was a time recently where, like, I got really drunk and, like, left a few, like, groups and, like... distance myself from people, and I was like, and I felt great afterwards. Like, it was like, oh man, I should have done this 2 weeks ago. Like, I just don't think about it when I'm sober, because I'm just like trying to maintain normalcy and be a nice guy. But then when I'm drunk, it's like all my emotions explode out, and it's like, oh yeah, I need to take control of what's going on in my life, and you know,
alcohol solves everything.
Yeah.
I will say, I don't want to talk like about what it was about, but it. Me getting drunk and starting an argument with Hope actually led to us becoming in a relationship. Basically just about me moving away in general, just feelings about that, but it was just kind of like, yeah, if I hadn't, like, ended up, like, being drunk and starting an argument, you know, wouldn't have led anywhere.
That's what I love about, because I think all, like, you are very, like, emotional in general,
Yes.
but not necessarily willing to always talk about why you're emotional. But
Well,
me and
not
Shade,
necessarily.
me and Shade are both like very guarded, especially Shade.
Yeah.
And cause I have people I can talk to about shit, and I can just vent, and they don't give a fuck.
Because like with
right?
Hope, I've talked about absolutely everything, and I've kind of always done that.
Well, I mean, like, cunt. I was not ready for that. Like, for instance, I have friends who I can talk about all the shit going on with me, and they don't give a fuck. I can just vent, you know, like it's kind of like growing up. If we were depressed, who could we talk about it to? You know, like if I told you, then you would get concerned and you wouldn't know what to say. If I talked to my parents, they'd get really concerned and they wouldn't know what to say.
You're depressed, I just wouldn't be surprised.
So when I was growing up and I was really depressed, I didn't really have anybody to talk to. Like I talked to Don-san somewhat, but like, you know, he was not helpful.
Yes.
So like,
I mean, I was the same way until mid-high school, and I started talking to Marcus a lot.
right.
And that was like, that opened me up.
Yeah.
And fix that, and then after that I just became fucking expressive of everything all the time, and I can't turn it off.
Right.
Like, it's just like I always have someone I dump everything on.
But I was always like really guarded about my feelings and stuff. Like it kind of like when I was in that relationship that we've brought up a few times.
Yeah.
Like I've been told by other people that they thought that nothing was ever wrong with my relationship because I never talked about any problems.
Yeah.
You know, because I didn't want to. I didn't want to cop to it. But like, so I just had bottled it up inside. Thought, well, I can deal with it. Like, I understand it. I can deal with it.
Yeah.
You know. And then like other people were like, "What? You guys were like, you weren't completely happy all the time?" And I was like, "No, I was like never like completely. Like, why would I ever be?"
Seemed
you know.
boring to me, so I was just like, I don't see that last.
But
forever.
like, the thing is that with like with me now, I can talk to people online and like expunge all of my feelings.
Yeah.
I don't know that Shade has anybody he can really do that with.
Yeah.
Like Shade's friends.
I have wondered.
Shade's friends are very emotional.
I figure you might talk to Don-san or something.
Me and Don-san are the people he
Yeah.
talks to. But Shade is very guarded unless he drinks. You know. I'd say he probably talks to Don-san more than me because Don-san is a fucking like an obelisk of friendship that everyone who knows him confides in him deeply. Like everyone I've ever known who becomes friends with him, he becomes their like.
He's a great best friend. Like, support man.
I mean, he kind of hates it sometimes.
Yes.
Like there's times where he's like, "Why the fuck does everybody come to me with their problems?" But it's just like because you don't offer anything.
Yeah,
to anyone.
exactly.
He never tries to give you advice,
and he never has any advice. And he just listens, and he's like, "Wow, yeah."
You know?
And that's great a lot of the time. You know, you don't want advice. You don't want someone telling you what you should do.
And that's how my online friends are. They don't give a fuck about my problems.
Exactly.
You know, they're just like, whatever, dude. Like, I have my own fucking shit to deal with. You know, but we all bitch at each other constantly, and it's great. Because, you know, there's some people who, if you bitch at them, they don't want to hear it. They're like, and you're like, get the fuck out of here, you know, or they try to give you advice. You know, my friends, we all just bitch, and then nobody responds. We don't care.
Yeah.
You know, we're just like, oh, whatever. That
you need
sounds
to vent,
terrible. You know,
you're gonna figure it out yourself. You just need to talk about it.
Right. But like, I don't know if Shade has that. So I love when he gets drunk because he immediately starts venting everything.
Yes.
He immediately just becomes a whole different guy and starts telling you all of his life story, all of his life problems, everything that's bothering him, you know. Which, I mean, and after he got drunk the first time and talked to me, he's gotten better at talking to me about stuff.
Yeah.
Because I'll ask him, I'll be like, hey, how are things going with your relationship and stuff like that, you know. And he started answering, actually, as opposed to just staring at me. But, and we've seen it with our poor friend Mike, who, when he gets drunk,
he'll have a breakdown.
Have a complete mental breakdown and tell you his entire life story that he is normally completely guarded about.
Yes.
Mike is the kind of guy who thinks that being a man and being a clever guy.
Mike is so funny about it seems
just,
like his persona is like what he really thinks is cool, and like he can't get over it. I was like, what?
really
what is your
hilarious
mentality about anything?
He has this really hilariously cliched persona
Yes.
that everyone sees through,
Exactly.
but he maintains constantly.
So fake.
And it's hilarious. But it seems to be what he thinks is what being a guy is about.
Yes.
But then when he gets drunk, he completely breaks the persona and becomes this like really insecure, troubled man. Which I guess we all do, but I don't think any of us have nearly as much. You just become a more emotional version of the same fucking guy.
I think I've become a lot better, like...
Yeah, well, you're not as fucking depressed anymore.
Yeah,
so
I'm much better, and I
what are
feel
you
like...
gonna cry about if you get drunk?
Well,
Oh, I love my girlfriend too much. Like, what the
Jesus.
fuck?
I've had a lot of character development over my college years, so I feel like my arc has, like, stopped at one spot and it's starting at a new spot. Like, I don't need to talk about a lot of those things
There
anymore.
goes the S of sand.
I did it. Never to be seen again. But yes, I've had enough development where I'm just like, alright, I'm good now. And I really only drink around Hope now because I'm just like, I'll always be happy when I'm around her. And like, I won't like fly off the, I don't know what I'll fly off the handle about, but I've had bad experiences and I always feel like it's bad luck for me to drink.
Yeah. Our friends don't drink a lot anymore because all they do is play Street Fighter, and it's hard to drink and play Street Fighter at the same time.
Yeah.
That's literally the reason, Victor. That's why they don't drink as much.
Wow.
That's why Brandon doesn't drink as much anymore.
He can't get
Brandon can't drink and play Street Fighter at the same time.
Because he loses and he hates losing. So
no,
it's
he's bitterly competitive.
Yeah.
So if he starts drinking and it makes him worse, then he's gonna be like, especially now because Street Fighter 5 is out, he's trying to get better. Like, at Street Fighter 4, he didn't give a fuck because he was so much better than all of us that he could get drunk and still beat us and it would be hilarious. But at Street Fighter 5, he's you can tell he's taking it a lot more seriously.
And because everyone started getting good at the game, so
right.
it's like...
Well, Dansan and Boyd are both
now.
better at it, so like it's a real competition. He still hasn't found a main character, so it's like everyone's really... like I said in an earlier episode, our friends have literally turned Street Fighter 5 into a full-time job.
Man, who do I teach?
All they do is play Street Fighter. Although, I know that, like, because Dansan's already said, yeah, when Dark Souls 3 comes out, Street Fighter's off the table. Like, it's not, I don't care anymore, you know. But, like, Brandon, it's going to be years. All he's going to do for years is play Street Fighter 5.
Most likely.
Which, to me, is going to be absolutely annoying until the moment he goes pro. Yes. I've been saying this for the last 2.5 years, because... For the last 2.5 years, all our friend Brandon Tolentino's done is play fighting games. He's been obsessed with fighting games. All he's done is play Smash, Street Fighter 4, Street Fighter 5 now. And, like, I've been telling him all this time, like, go pro. You want to. He follows the pro circuit. He loves the pro players. But he won't, like, put in the effort to go somewhere and learn it and try to go pro. And it's like... I mean, sure, he's having fun by himself, and I'm sure he loves playing the games. But for me, personally, all I see is, like... If you're not going to go all the way, then why do it? Yeah. You know, like, why spend so much time on it if you're not going to go all the way and try to be the best?
Spend all of your free time playing it. Right. But there's hobby athletes.
But the thing is, I can't get into it personally. Like, because all of our friends play Street Fighter, and I'm like,
boring.
I've said this to Brandon like a bunch of times. I mean, I'm sure he doesn't care about how involved I am, but I've said, like, if you went pro, I would go pro with you. Like, I would put everything in. I'd go all in. If I had one friend who was so into a game that they were going to drive all over the country and go to tournaments and try to win money, I would be like, all right, let's do this.
Yeah,
you know,
it would make
like,
it more fun if everyone was motivated.
Oh, man, it would be... Because, like, I totally envy everyone who plays games on, like, a deep level. I envy people who have, like, really deep connections with games, or they do, like, challenge runs and like, speed runs and... like competitive play, like all that stuff is really cool to me.
Yes.
But there's no one game that I care about enough that I want to do that with, unless I had like with a fighting game, you have to have someone else. You know, like you don't playing fighting games alone is fucking boring. But if you had someone who was so dedicated that they were like, if Brandon came up to me one day and was like, I'm seriously gonna go pro, let's practice all day, every day, I'd be like, let's do it. You know, like, I'd sit there and I'd just play Street Fighter nonstop, and then we'd, you know, go pro together. But, like, he's been pussyfooting around it for 2.5 years, so...
Yeah.
it's hard for me to take it seriously that any of our friends are ever gonna play at like a real level, you know.
Yeah.
And again, I know for him it's just fun to play the game anyways and to be involved, but like,
I feel like Boyd takes himself more seriously.
right. Well, Boyd just cares about being good, but he's never going to be able to play enough to go pro because he takes his job seriously. And takes his, has other interests. Brandon plays constantly, but he still hasn't gone pro, you know.
Oh, man. Street Fighter.
Street Fighter has taken over everything.
It always has.
It's
like, this is all anyone does
I have
now.
become completely distant from my entire group of friends because of Street Fighter.
Basically.
Because every time I see any of them, all they're doing is playing Street Fighter, and I don't care about the game, and I don't want to play.
Yeah.
So I'm just like, well, I guess this is what you guys are doing. And you can't talk to them while they're playing it, because they care way too much.
Yeah, and all they talk about is Street Fighter while they're playing Street Fighter.
Right. While they like
And they get too
overreact
hyped,
so much. They get so hyped. It's like every match.
oh my god, chill out.
Whoa, you did a move. Oh, like, oh, that was so cool. And I'm
anytime
just like,
Don's there, it's the hypest experience in the world. You get so excited.
Donson and Boyd, they both are like way hype about Street Fighter. Every move that's cool, they're like, oh my god! And I'm just like you can't have a conversation around it.
Little bitch is evolving. Little bitch.
So I just decided I would abandon everybody. I don't care anymore. One day, everyone, when Dark Souls 3 comes out, then me and Donson can bond over Dark Souls 3. And you and Shade, we're all probably gonna buy it day one. I am so fucking hyped for Dark Souls 3. Do you want to finish this? Like, how long is this gonna take?
I gotta beat Lieutenant
We're
Surge.
towards the end of this episode.
Oh. Do you have material for another episode?
Not really.
Well, let's fight this guy, and then I guess
covered
we'll
everything I was
stop in the
thinking
middle
about.
of the lightning gym.
It won't matter to the audience. Either way, it's gonna be another episode. Like, for them, it's just tomorrow.
And it's weird for me to stop.
You'll be fine. You got a sand slash. That's pretty fucking cool.
Yeah, that's cool. Little bitch.
I keep reading it as Little Bevich.
No,
Like, it's a weird,
you're
like-
right. It kind of does look like a V.
I keep reading it as like a Russian name, like
Man.
Little Bevich.
Bitch.
Ah, this is Little Bevich, or like a Jewish name. Little Bevich.
Sand slash, bitch.
Yeah.
You really did give me him at the perfect level to like evolve him, fight
I
the gym,
told you,
and
this
then
game
leave.
is perfectly
Yeah.
structured around giving you Pokemon right in a level range where you can evolve them and then shift them out of your party immediately. The whole game is based around that.
Kinda
Diglett,
cool. Yeah.
same area, he evolves at like level 22, you know? Alright, that's it
guess
for
we're
this
done.
episode of Digi Bros. See you later.